Welcome back, LMS portal. Dr. Kavitha for BA Optional English 4th semester, section Prose, session 41. This is the last session of the short story The Weed, written by AMRUTHA PRIYATHM. Now let us have a quick look into the pre-reading of the previous two sessions. We came to know that this short story The Weed is one of the best stories of AMRUTHA PRIYATHM. The writer is the narrator of the story, and the narrator have in depth a conversation with a young girl called Angori, who gets a child marriage and who is married to an old person called Prabhati. Through her, the narrator get lot many informations about the social institutions and practices in rural India. So in the next session, we came to know about the metaphor weed. So the weed is symbolized with some material elements such as sweets, bitter leaves, where women who falls prey to the lure of men and how they are exploited for the carnal pleasure and how they are discarded like material elements. So now coming to the metaphor in depth. The writer uses the metaphor, the weed, to underline the fact that males use some of other material elements to win over the female hearts. So they give a small amount of betel leaf so that women will fall for their pleasure. They give some sweets, and that is how females are attracted. And the men in all cases exploit the women, and after enjoying the carnal pleasures, they desert them. And we also came across the patriarchal systems which has been practiced in rural India. Through the conversation between the narrator and Angori, we came to know how girls are chosen their husbands, that too in a very tender age when they don't even realize the meaning of marriage. But the father chooses a boy and he gives some money and flowers and put in his feet so that later the boy will marry the girl. This is how child marriage takes up in rural India. So these kind of practices and these kind of institutions had worsened women's situation, and that is what has been portrayed in this short story. Now let us see the imagery. What kind of imagery the writer depicts. In the case of Angori's friend, to which Angori explains to the narrator, the weed comes in the form of sweets and bitter leaves. And ironically, in the case of Angori, it came in the form of sweetened tea. Angori explains this to the narrator that she has fallen in love with Ramtaram, who gave her a sweetened tea. And this shows how women are not aware of their exploitation. For the smallest thing, they give up their identity. So here the irony is, the story throws light on the condition of women in rural India. Their marriages, their sexuality and their emotions are very much different from the urban woman, the educated woman and the intelligent or intellectual woman. Now let us see the inferences. The weed, which is the vulnerability of woman who falls prey to the lure of men, symbolized through the metaphorical weed, and how male exploit the female for carnal pleasure and then discard them like material elements. So here we should understand that these women should be educated and they should be aware of their identity. And we should stop this polygamy, patriarchal systems and exploitation of women. Such stories would help realize the true facts of whatever is practiced, the institutions which has to be abolished. So based on this story, I have placed the revisions and references for further studies as well as exams. Thank you.